Today, I'm proud to bring you some very rough individuals, Luke Cavanaugh, Travis Thompson, and Kevin from Snake Farm. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Good.
Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming block party for Lowercase Dooms.
Um,
Guys, how the fuck did this get started? That's what I want to know. Because for years now, I've been following this page, and it's not just entertainment, but it has built a community, and now you're trying to do something amazing, which is bring everybody together and kind of like have a good time celebrating some amazing folks. So, all right, take it away.
yeah, I mean, you know how group chats go. Everyone's probably this listener's probably is in 100 different group chats, and we're just chit chatting in one group chat. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Kevin kind of just said it as a joke at one point, and then we just start talking about how we're going to roll with it, and we sort of ended up here. Realized there was a bunch of missions we were excited about, namely on this one, the FOLAND initiative and that sort of thing. So we started taking it there, and everyone's got their opinions on the foundations and things like that. And we just like, hey, this is how we want to get our guys together. This is how we want to get together. This is how we want to do it. So that's what we ran with it. And whatever Luke and Kevin have to add on top of that.
Oh yeah, you said it good. Like we built a community out of this. Collaborated with some other companies. Misfits and Snake Farm and some other teams. And we reached out, and Travis made the connection to us with Combat Control Foundation, and they're willing to help us out with that side of it to get everything up and running.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard thing to try to do something new and branch off and try to avoid having 75 different individuals try to put their fingers in everything. Like there's a lot of great organizations, there's a lot of great outreach, but at the end of the day, when you want to do something authentic, maybe it just takes like a smaller group of people. Like what was the first catalyst for this whole thing like kicking off, and like how did it go from initial joke, because I'm pretty sure maybe it was just a joke in the chat like you said, and then kicking that ball down the road and actually like making some real movement with it?
I think it's just sort of like it takes a spark to make fire, and like with a lot of parties in general, the fixed ones are the ones that kind of just are pre-planning that suck. Like no one wants to go to the squadron Christmas party, no one wants to go to this pre-planned thing, no one wants to go to that. And like the best get-togethers we have almost been impromptu, or just when the guys are handling it, or the guys are getting together going to do, whether that's a Super Bowl party or meeting up at Coasters or wherever that is. So we were kind of just talking about that. Now we want to get everyone together. It's not just in the special operations or the combat control community that we're having this identity crisis where we're not feeling that sense of camaraderie we might have once felt. So it's like, hey guys, how do we get that together? Well, it's not really like there's no one else there to do it. So we want to do this. We can do it right. That's where we ran with that. Of course, Kevin's the creative one of the bunch. And when he's done running 100 miles a day, comes in with some great ideas on how to do it. So
yeah. No, Trav, it was like we were just talking shit. And one of our business partners and great friends and fellow TAC P, Jared Taylor, was like, we should do something. We should do a concert or a comedy show. So we started doing comedy before the summer, and then started talking to Luke and the LCD guys again about the community and where we were at. And it was like, dude, let's just throw a big ass party, right? But like, we don't want to just ask for money and just spend on alcohol, right? There has to be a reason. There has to be an end state for it, right? Or else we just become one of these bro charities, which is like raging, and then we fucking off to the right, with all your money. So that's where TK was instrumental, because he's been working with Mr. Brent Sibley, father of Fallen's combat controller Forrest Sibley, to build up FOLAND and which is 100 acres of Floribama land, and have not only Air Force Special Warfare, community members and their families come out there already, but like teams, guys get back from deployment and go out there, right? And they've done a good job of like building the initial infrastructure, but we want to use this event as a way to bring in a bunch of money, bring in donors, and then build that whole, lodge out and build more room so we can have multiple teams, so we can do this multiple times a year. And that can be a haven for all the guys, who've put in work the last 20 plus years, right? Like, they deserve that spot,
Dude,
cool,
absolutely.
cool to build it, right?
Yeah. So I think that the other thing that we have to touch on here is everybody here has transitioned, made their way out. I think, Luke, you're the last man out, right?
We did it. One of us.
I think it becomes more important to build a community once you're on the outside, because like we were talking earlier, Kevin, like you start a business, you become an entrepreneur, you start a job, everything kind of takes the back seat.
Yeah.
like being able to stay connected, being able to have friends, being able, like, in your own journeys, guys, like, how has that been, like, how have you dealt with that? Being able to, like, now you're no longer walking in that team room every morning. Now it's like, all right, I'm walking in the office or I'm working remote. Like, how do you continue to reach out to each other?
Like, I mean, we have all these group chats, all these random little sub communities. Like, these are the people I got. Hobbies on top of that, work. I mean, Luke and I work the same company now, working for Elastic. It's just good to have everyone around, and like, your bros are your bros, whether you're working with them or not. My closest friends that I had on the teams are still some of my closest friends now, even if I haven't seen them in years. Just kind of the way it goes.
I don't. So I had a kind of different transition, so to speak, from these two dudes because they were active duty, and I was an Air Force or a National Guard TACP, Air National Guard TACP. So like the last 3 years, 4 years when I was thinking about transitioning out, I had a part-time job in a tech company, right? So I was doing that while like one foot in the door. And the catalyst for me was like, dude, I'm not being a good team leader anymore. I'm not giving the guys my ultimate value, right? Because I'm working on Snake Farm, I'm doing my family, or I'm practicing for 190 miles a day, right? So that was like the catalyst for me to transition out. Like, hey, I need to go find what makes me happy and what's going to make, put my energy into like good, not evil, right? Which is, smoking like 1 levels and shit and just like teaching JTAC classes. So I left easy at 17 years, and then I think it's cool. I've been able to be in the guard and kind of help a lot of dudes transition out. Like Luke and I have talked a lot about. I'm not saying I help Luke out. Like everything Luke is, he owes to me. No, yeah. but it's just like I've kind of had my foot in both worlds, in the civilian and the military world, and it's just been like, hey, dude, here's what I see, or here's what you really need to do to set yourself up, right? Like 20 plus years of dudes just crushing it overseas. Like a lot of these guys are coming back. A lot of my friends are like, hey, can I get a job here or there? I'm like, dude, this is a technical job. Like you need to know the technical details about it. Like not being like, like all that other stuff is what gets you in the door. But it's been, it's been weird watching friends transition, right? Some of them do it successfully and some of them do it not successfully. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It is hard.
It's difficult, and we got to be able to take a look at every aspect, even the guys that don't do so well at first. I think there's lessons learned in those experiences too. We can bring back to everybody. I do want to give a quick shout out to an organization that's helped 3 of us, the Honor Foundation. Yeah. I know Travis, we went through it together, and Luke, you went like right after.
That's right.
What were some of the things that you feel that organization was able to give you and prepare you for making that leap out into the real world?
For me, I would say just transitioning into like the real world. So the military, you get everything's allocated to you, paid for, your BAH, everything. They help prepare you for that, help prepare you for set conditions for financial reports and issues like that. And then they get you the biggest part, in my opinion, was the networking aspect. I didn't know like that what I was doing through the military all these years was actually networking. They put a title to it, taught me how to do that formally and how to reach out to people. And then, the mock interviews at the end of that were instrumental in acquiring the job I have now, honestly. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Travis?
Similar, with the networking thing and other stuff we've alluded to, like when you're leaving a community or when you feel like you have this team that's alongside you going towards a common goal, with the Honor Foundation, it's like, hey, this is a place people would come together as a new common goal. Like, hey, we're all making this transition. We're all doing this. So it's people kind of left and right of you, people to bounce ideas off of and not just feel like you're figuring this all out by yourself. On top of that, like there's just some awesome people associated with that organization. I didn't necessarily use that network to get the job I'm in now, but like I talked to so many people and met so many people along the way that it took a lot of worries off my shoulders. I'm like, hey man, like we all got each other's back, just like with anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. We tend to think that transition has to be this thing that we do by ourselves, and it's absolutely not true. You got teams on the outside. You have individuals that care and want to give you resources, and it's not about getting a handout. It's just about being willing to step up to the plate and say, hey, like, I've never done this before. I need help. And like, there's so many people that are willing to come out of the woodwork if you're willing to just be that little bit of vulnerable and just say, hey man, like I need a little bit of help on this. And go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah. So you guys mentioned Honor Foundation. Luke put me on to Shift Group, which is another awesome organization to take like former NCAA athletes, Division I athletes, and then veterans who like, essentially are transitioning out and they've lost their team, right? They both are hanging out the uniform. So then they give those guys through like a rigorous course, sales engineer experience, so that you can go and then they place you with a job, right? They try to place you with a job. And I went through that course and they were awesome. Those people were great. I didn't need the job placement. It was more about learning the skills, but just like the fact that those guys are putting in that work and like that mindset is like, hey, you've training on a team, a high level, like a sprinting team for years and years, college, some opportunities after that, and then you hang it up and you're done. Same thing with the military, right? But those guys were saying like their attrition rate for that course is like 70%. Like 70 veterans that they accept don't finish this courseware. And it's just like, it's the same thing everywhere, right? Like, all you have to do is outwork somebody a little bit more. And you're probably gonna be a lot better off than they are. And that comes with using resources like this, man. There's so many cool resources for veterans transitioning out. And I think guys are just like, nah. Everybody talks about the same, like I don't want to do that, but I don't know. A lot of cool opportunities to change your life and not have to work for Boeing for the next 20 years.
Dude.
What?
Oh,
hey, don't kill me. I was just kidding. Yeah. He goes, I haven't seen my family in 3 months, but I make fucking $400.
I get a month off straight. Who else gets that?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen my kids. That bitch Debbie took them. All right, we got to cut this. That's the Lowercase Dooms coming out, dude.
Oh, shit.
No, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of Lowercase Dooms, now that everybody's out, let's dive into that. Like, the military meme space is filled with individuals, but I feel like your brand of comedy on that page is absolutely like just ridiculous. Going back to like when I first found it and seeing like there is so many things you guys put out there that it's just like, Jesus fuck Christ, this is hilarious. Like who comes up with this shit? And then I meet Luke and it's like, okay, now I know where it's come from. Like, what was the catalyst to start this thing off, man?
I would say the origins of that started years before on Facebook, back when we had Facebook, before now just our parents had Facebook. The generation before us, crusty, trying to stay relevant, say some stuff. And then, of course, we just try to make fun of them because it wasn't, relevant to what's going on now. So we're like, yeah, you're
it essentially started us with us trolling.
It started as playful banter on there.
Older tag Ps on Facebook.
Yeah. Sorry, what?
Said it essentially started with us trolling older tag Ps on Facebook.
And that was ironic because that's when Luke froze out and was.
Yeah. This guy doesn't know how to use the internet, baby. What the fuck, dude?
I don't know how to use this stuff.
You ain't got enough dedicated wham. You know what I'm saying? That's old.
The dedicated wham.
It was that combat controllers at the handheld Link 16 conference. Did you get enough dedicated wham?
Yeah, so we're just sitting around on our couches in March of 2020, not being able to do anything, and we're like talking about how much this is bullshit. And then we started talking about memes and stuff. We're like, let's just start a meme page about it. We started making memes, and then all of a sudden people started talking about it. We were going places, and we're like,
oh, this is cool.
Talking about us.
Yeah. I wonder who Dooms is. Like, yes. Who is he?
Yeah,
he sounds handsome.
Over the years, but sorry, I guess.
That's all Luke, dude.
Yeah, it's funny because you guys have started some pretty. There have been some grudges and some feelings hurt through the page.
Yeah, over memes. It's it is what it is. It hurts your fifis. It's probably a little too true for you. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not that serious.
It gave me context in my real life though. Like, so if I see something that pisses me off, like, oh, Biden's gonna be a skin suit, I'm like, that's pretty whack. And I'm like, wait, remember when these guys would deem us like, do you really think I can't read a map? Are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, didn't you fail JTAC Houston? Anyways, so like, like, I love you, dude. We're friends now. But the guy I'm talking about, so I was like, oh, it's just not that serious. This is the fucking internet, right? And it was just like a cool way for us to like talk shit and like kind of bring the vibe up for the guys, right? So we'd have dudes from all across the spectrum sending us stories, sending us memes like, hey, did you hear about that guy straight the fucking OP the other day with the F-16? Crazy. Hashtag NSW, right? And it was just we would take that and like put those little blotter stories out for the community because it was just like no one else was doing it for our specific job, right? There was the 18 Disaster, one of the OG dudes. Like he was a fucking killer. Like, you know, but no one was doing it for us, you know. So again, it's always been about like making us happy, right? Whether like we're shitting on fat Air National Guard TAC Ps, right? You know, fucking soft dudes who black out their stuff, you know, just, you know, at Disney, like, what, dudes, chill, brother. You know, Mulan Lake, dude, like, you know, it was always talking shit about everything, us, to make us feel better. So, yeah.
Representation matters, especially in the soft community in the meme world. Travis, I want to ask you, man, how's it been being able to work with, you know, Force's dad and building this FOLAND project?
No, yeah. It's definitely been awesome and rewarding. I mean, I grew up in the outdoors and that sort of thing, so like it's a natural fit. I mean, who doesn't want property they can hunt on or access to? So I mean, that's the selfish side of it. But on top of it, it's like, man, no, this is something way bigger than me. Like this is Forrest bought this before he died. He was exploring it with his dad.
Shit.
He walked all four corners of the property, and it was always the intent of it was like, this is a spot for the guys. This is what it is. And when Forrest was killed in Helmand, his dad like was like, hey, this is kind of like my purpose now. Like, this is how I'm going to give back to the community, and this is all he does. I mean, Brent spends like sometimes 6 out of 7 days a week, and, you know, his old lady is not happy about that. And he's just out there, you know, mowing lawn, cutting down trees, getting the tree stands ready, getting camping areas ready. I mean, they made a shower and like a nice outhouse so people's wives or girlfriends will be happy to go out there. Like, that's what it's about. It's like they want this to be the outdoor retreat, so you don't have to spend $60 to go camping at some campground and have another thing 10 feet next to you. But yeah, I mean, it's been ultimately rewarding. We've been seeing a lot of guys that have never been in the outdoors. Like, I mean, you guys have seen in the soft community, there's guys you think that like are super badass seer guys, and it's like, oh, well, I've never been hunting before. Oh, I've never really like messed with these kind of guns before, and that. Like, we've been able seeing that out there has been awesome. I mean, like, shout out like Edwin Perez doing a lot of stuff out there, and Peter Guy, I saw him get his first deer this past season. It was pretty cool seeing that sort of stuff. On top of that, I mean, the chaplain at the squadron and a few other groups have gone out there to do just pure resiliency retreats. And then on top of that, it's like to give to that next community. And like as the global war on terror has died down, it's like these new guys, like how else do they get a pulse on it? So it's kind of turned into a place like where teams will take out take out the whole team to just do work. And like, hey, this is a Gold Star thing. This is how we're going to give back to them. And it sort of puts into perspective and makes these Gold Star people not just names on a wall. It's like they're real people, and this was it. So that's kind of like the full spectrum rewarding of it. On top of that, just to ramble on some more, like the way we kind of I thought that this would be a good thing for this LCD BP to add on is like we kind of made an impromptu party last year because at this point, FOLAND, like we built a small little 4-bunk cabin, and a lot of times guys would go out there with the teams of their families, and like these 4 little twin beds in the cabin like aren't supporting that. So like we did a fundraiser to build this giant pole barn, and it is massive. We exceeded our standards and goal. We made like $20K and cash a night and built this awesome pole barn, and that's where it stands now. Like we have the pole barn there, and that's about it. So now it's like we got to outfit this thing because like we were not expecting that to happen on our stupid party at Coasters and some raffles going on with that and mafia styling for raffle tickets. But it was awesome. Everyone came out to support, and that's what we hope happens again this time.
Absolutely, man. Luke, do you have something to add on to that?
Travis has been instrumental in interfacing with the FOLAND part of this. I've been pretty hands off with that, and I knew about his fundraiser he did last year. I wasn't able to go to it, and when we were spitballing in the chat about like, if we're going to do this, where are we going to bring the funds? You know, we don't want to just give it to one of our awesome nonprofits. We want to give it to work with a nonprofit to give it to a specific goal. And Travis, you know, immediately after we asked that, Travis was like, let's do FOLAND. And everybody was like, yeah, 100%. Got to do FOLAND.
I mean, think about it, Denny. Like it's super cool. Like he was killed in like a 3rd group, 7th group rip, and like this is a property. It's like, man, we have this built out here. Like this is now the event spot, and that's what this place is for. It's not anyone's personal property. I think it's like, hey, here's the gate. You guys know the gate code. You're trusted people here, and like this is our area to do what we want with. And like, who has that? Like that is awesome for us to have, especially around here in the Panhandle. Even guys in North Carolina, and that people still come down there for that. So once this is built, it's like this is just awesome, and we see the vision through.
Yeah, it's beautiful knowing the area too. Like there's places that you meet up that you know specifically. Oh, that's our JTAC CCT brothers. They're meeting up here in this area. This is their bar. And you walk in, and for the Green Berets, like we have Charlie Mark in North Carolina. Like Charlie Mike's bar is like just decorated evergreen beret we've lost. And when we had those bars that you would go to and you see the lineage of all your brothers, all the Air Force Special Operation guys. That's something unique to that Northwest Florida area. And for you guys to have that plot of land to bring guys out away from the party scene, away from the constant drinking scene, that's even more therapeutic, because now we know like the efficacy of being in the outdoors, hunting, hiking, being outside with your friends, being able to enjoy an area. That's a testament to the guys that it's built for. It's going to always be there.
Your friends keep you away from your family, and your family keeps you away from your friends. So like, what's a place you can meld those? It's like an outdoor place like that. So like, then there really is no excuse, and it's a true community type of thing.
Absolutely.
I was very fortunate to experience one of those for the first time. Our friends and the co-planners of the LCD Block Party Alpha Resolute group ran by a bunch of legendary combat controllers. We just call them friends. They invited me out to North New York for my first turkey hunt ever. Right, I'm one of the dudes never hunted before, and it was amazing. And it was just a couple of veterans and family, and he the owner of the land had his kids, Chris Peck, and it was just I don't have anything but like being with my friends there. It was such a meaningful time, and to be able to do that in large scale for dudes that we know and love and care about, that's pretty powerful.
I'm happy you brought that up, Kevin, because the Operation Second Chance, I've done another retreat with the guy, Mark Petranis, who runs a camp up there in Michigan as well. And like going up there and him hosting the guys, he's just a firefighter, a regular dude, and he wants to get back to, wounded veterans and that sort of thing. And like what that started as is like a lot of people that had lost their legs or lost limbs and stuff like that. And now like you don't see as much of that. So like I'm fortunate enough to get out there. Like I'm banged up but not missing a leg or something, lucky enough, like knock on wood. But like the thing with FOLAND is we would like to be able to do the same type of thing there. Like once that is outfitted and ready for that, like that, I've talked to Brent about it. And like that's something he would love to do, be able to host guys out there and bring people out there to give the whole veteran community some sort of retreat, and just be able to do it right rather than just
because there's nothing like we have a lot of fishing chargers, a lot of stuff out there, but as far as like getting out and hunting and being out in the area, we don't have that. Guys are always having to go out to Louisiana and go to all these other nonprofit areas, but to have it in the backyard, that makes it so much easier for guys to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take a weekend off. I'm going to take the kids, take the wife. We're going to go out there. And you don't have to worry about putting in a request for long distance travel or any of that shit.
Or go trespass on the redneck range that everyone in Northwest Florida has been to before to go zero their guns.
I gotta love Crestview.
Is that Hooter still there? I'll ask you
offline.
Okay.
Same one single waitress still working there.
Lost a lot of good men there, dude. A lot of good men.
They're shift a Cracker Barrel kind of bouncing between the both.
Dude, God bless them. Bless the troops.
He's a busy lady these days.
No, fuck the troops, all right.
Oh, Kevin, I want to ask you, man. Like going into the space, like you have Travis and you have Luke. They went out there, they're crushing it. Found an amazing business to work with, and going the entrepreneurial route, going after your own thing with Snake Farms. What was that like in the beginning?
It's cool. It's been Snake Farm. It's been by a committee, right? We've always had at least 4 members at all times running the company. All combat controller, TAC P. One time we had a Green Beret. So it's different, right? Because we are all used to working at a high performing level, but we learning to slow down, and it's different, man. I enjoy it. Yeah. I don't know. I've already forgot the question because I was like, I don't want to answer this shit. No.
It's miserable. I hate it.
Yeah. Well, if I wouldn't, I stayed up late last night working on some shit. So that's why I'm like, you want to know my fucking thoughts, brother?
Exactly. That's the real shit I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Though. Like you and I were talking about it before. Is like when it's yours and you've worked on something for forever, right? And we started a Snake Farm in 15, 16. Dude, like all those details matter, right? Like not getting to that customer, not seeing that customer who's like, yo, what the fuck? Hello, I emailed you. It's like, oh shit, dude, I was worried. I was doing 100 other things. That shit still hurts, right? Like, a couple of years later. I love it. I love being able to work with dudes who dream bigger than regular stuff, like regular, normal, like, man, I'm going to go to Cancun this weekend and I'm going to fucking do some fun stuff. Like we're like, dude, let's build a fucking party, and have a football game and tournament style. And let's give, broadcasters down here. Right. Like being able to work with dudes and vision and actually create shit like that. Like when, is amazing, and it's given me a lot of resiliency when told no outside of the military, because like you get told no in the military, it's like, oh fuck, that sucks. Like out here, it's like, why? Like, no, you got to give me some justification. Like you need to justify to me why this plan isn't good, right? And so, running your own business and is challenging as fuck. It's not as fun like everybody looks like he thinks it is, but man, when it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
So long way to
pages.
say. It's all right.
Web page looks fun, but when you're doing the work to make it all look awesome, it can be a challenge.
And I was in the Air Force. So I can read at a very high level, and this shit's not that fun sometimes. Web page design shit, it's not.
And Travis and Luke, for you guys coming out of this, going into your own new endeavor, new chapter in your life, have you been able to manage being able to focus on family, focus on your hobbies, going into this new realm, working for somebody, doing high demand work?
Yeah. I wish I had an answer for you. It's just kind of like, it's very as much as like I like to think I'm organized and methodical on things, a lot of time it is like putting out fires. It's like if you're having issues in this space, like you got to go focus on that. And then it's like, oh man, like I might make sure I'm tracking all this. So like I like the chaos a little bit. That's how I function as a person, even on top of, the typical things. I have 1,000,001 hobbies on top of it, and I'm always want to learn something new. And that's just how I thrive. Because if otherwise I personally get very complacent and start forgetting things if I'm going slow. When I'm going fast, I'm turned on all the time. And I understand the risks and things with that. And I've gone in the dark side of that, but I feel like I'm in a much healthier place than on the teams when a lot of things were different.
Yeah.
Yep. Fucking balloon. I didn't do that. Oh, my hands was on my thing the entire time. Hands up, don't shoot.
Gestures.
So
what you have to do is you have to stand up and take your pants down and just kind of.
What does this do? Dude? So like that's cool though. Like having been in business and tech for the last like 4 years, like seeing dudes come in and use their ability to manage talent and manage a team, right? Because that's all it is, right? You're managing a team, right? And you're managing assets. So this, this asset works better with this because this has this munitions loadout, right? Same thing. Like, oh, I'm now running a team as a program manager, right? Because a lot of guys go from being a PIMP to getting a PMP. So like, then it's like, okay, how do I translate those skills? Well, dude, you used to manage people all the time. Fucking do the same thing here. Like, hey, Abdul, you're not doing a really good job. Kimothy is. So, moving those pieces around in those spaces is how guys perform, right? It's like when the guys are like, oh, I'm a quiet professional. Like, wait for somebody else to take the reins. Dude, like, don't be an alpha male dickhead, but, we have these awesome soft skills of being able to negotiate, see both sides, and fucking kind of play this little like second, third order effects. Like, well, what's going to happen if I do this? A lot of civilian people don't have those skills. They've never had to negotiate with somebody to do something high risk, right? You know, for us in the Air Force, high risk is driving an ATV. So, we've had to do it for everything. So
it's funny how guys' confidence goes away in that realm. And you do see some dudes that are the most confident guys in the world. And then you talk about 100%. Like transition or something new. And they're just like, oh, I don't know if that's for me or, any other thing that comes along for them. But a lot of it's just trusting yourself. And some people learn that and some people never truly grasp that. Like if you can accomplish hard things, you can see, you can train a monkey to build a rocket. Like you can train anybody to do anything. It's just trusting yourself that you can learn it and you can apply these skills. Way.
Dude, so true.
Luke and I really lucked out where we're at, and just one way or another. I mean, it's not a military-based company at all. Of course, there's a big PubSec thing with it, but on our team alone, it's like myself, Luke. We have another Green Beret on our team, and now we just started a skill bridge guy coming in. I'm also a combat controller, so it's really funny how that worked out, and like how we have this little like Mike team or Mike Force sitting here at a tech company, but it's cool.
That's badass, man. Like being able to bring in good friends and being able to build something that assist other individuals to get into that space. I have to imagine once you see somebody in that tracker that's coming in from that soft background, it's almost like would be too easy to be like, hey, we're going to pull this guy into our team.
And
how's it been
also
for you?
looking out for each other, man. Go ahead, Luke.
Oh yeah, I was just going to go back to the original question about the family and new job and everything. So, J.R. Butler at Shift Group that Kevin shouted out, he had a really good thing to say one time. We were on a call and they said, how do you balance, your life and your family and stuff? And he said, you don't balance it, you integrate it. So that's how it works. And so integrating that family and figuring out your priorities, again, same theme. It's no change from what we were doing in the military. It's prioritization of workload, right? So family, business, and then your actual 9-to-5 job. That's kind of where I've seen that a lot, and it's really resonated a lot since I started this new company. After JR said that in a call one time.
Yeah, we tend to think we got to jettison everything and then fucking laser focus on one thing, and everything else has to fucking fall by the wayside. But that's not the reality. You just have to figure out how to make it work together. Yeah, like, that's hard for everybody.
I got an 11-year-old kid and a 12-year-old kid who both are like awesome, in their respective sports. One does jiu-jitsu full time, the other one does like basketball, and they both do football. And like, so I've had to learn how to work on the go. And that's huge, right? Like, I'm not going to have my big 49-inch, curved monitor in front of me. My kids, a lot of times when I was working in tech, and, I exited last October, they're like, Dad, why do you come out of your office so angry? And I'm like, yo, dude, chill. That's my face. I got RBF, and so like, learning to work near them, with them, have them in here, not be like, I'm trying to write this white paper, And it's easier now that I'm focusing on like snake farming and like cinematography and like film and shit, right? But like so now I can be more creative. Now like the deadlines aren't as harsh. It's still work, but yeah, man, finding time to enjoy it around your family is big. But and yeah. That's good, Luke. Integrating them and not being like, "Hey, I'm in the silo. I'll see you guys in 6 hours." I gotta lock in. It's like, oh shit, dude.
Does that mean you have your family helping with like RFPs and stuff? Is that what integrate?
Shit, dog. I'm like, hey, Pent, what do you think KPI should be?
Email for me. I'm gonna be watching some Netflix.
Yeah, dude.
What did he say?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, baby, chat GPT this for me real quick. I'm gonna go get some cereal. Go get another fresh squirt.
Oh my God. Are you guys thinking to eventually maybe have a Lowercase Dooms nonprofit? You develop something together? Or
I feel very...
Yeah, but yeah. Go ahead, Luke. I just think that running a nonprofit is a lot of work. Like, that's a full-time...
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, running a nonprofit.
So,
biggest thing for us is, we decided to put an LLC under Lowercase Dooms, put up a shop just for people to have swag. We don't anticipate making any money off it. Anything we make on it that's outside of what covers business costs is going to go back to the community to some capacity. So we want to keep it like that. We don't want to make it a nonprofit of our own. I think there's a lot of nonprofits out there. It's probably a pretty saturated market, and a lot of them do really good stuff. And we'd rather partner with those nonprofits and help them any way we could, as far as the LCD side is concerned.
Dude, absolutely.
I think like, so what we learned from, is being able to I don't want to say jump, but what do we need to fund, or what do we need? What's our community need right now? Yep. Right now, our community needs FOLAND, to be built up, and your money earmarked for travel for teams next year. Right. That's what our focus is. Next year, something else might be our focus. Right. Or I just think it's better that we don't oversaturate and create another nonprofit, and we just utilize different ones as the need comes up, and we raise different money. I just
stay agile. What you're good at, like once the rent comes in on taxes and stuff like that, you don't want the man coming after you. Like let them and Co. at Combat Control Foundation like keep you in the lanes on that. And like,
listen.
Not to mention, Lowercase Dooms content probably doesn't really coincide with the nonprofit organization.
How dare you?
It's like, I'm happy they're working with us, and we're going to work with them. And we're going to do great things together. But I don't think we have the same sometimes when it comes to what we post.
Well, the first name for the Lowercase Dooms block party was a Lowercase Dooms summer turn down with lower LCD STD, and it was just like, we don't think anyone is going to say like, let's donate that. But we think it's hilarious. But we're going to be by ourselves, in a cabin by ourselves again. So
I got crabs at the Lowercase STD.
yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. I might still make that shirt.
What?
Drop
I
a
think the
giraffe in the
opposite,
chat
man.
if
I
you
think
want the
that
shirt.
sells that. You got to know your community. You got to know your humor, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very much in line. I think people need to understand too, like humor is humor, and it's part of the community. Like when you understand that you're not looking at clean, normal people, you're not making humor for normies. You're making humor for your specific community, and that's the thing I love about it. If it's not for you, keep moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't beat us up. They were just memes.
That's
Yeah. Luke and I are too skinny.
Hey, your son's done BJJ, so he's got our back.
I don't want to bring him. I
Yeah.
go to my kid. I'm like, dude, all these grown men want to beat me up for making memes. Teach me.
Yeah. I mean, wise, we're tying up, like we're finishing up some of the designs. I think we got the venues and stuff figured out.
Yeah.
Food wise, like we're still working on it. Kevin wanted some like paella or something. We told him that's a little too granola, so we're gonna go maybe some boil or something. We'll see. But yeah, it's tying up good. We'll probably start pushing it down people's throats even harder. Because you know how it is. It's sometimes pulling nails to get guys to have fun, and then they have a good time.
So what are some of the things that are outstanding? What are some of the things we need for fundraising right now?
Nothing. We've had some big donors pop in already, and thank you to those guys like Marcus Mader. Appreciate you, and Ibarra. Appreciate you. Those are some awesome donations. At this point, like some guys at the squadrons are starting to push it out to each other and make some posters. That's going to be on us to start pushing it out some more and just getting people to sign up. Some of it gets tricky, so we need to probably give some FAQs out there like, hey, like, yeah, you just got to buy a ticket and you're welcome to come to everything, because we hear questions on that, questions on football.
Yeah.
Like, really, like what we want people to understand is like we're going to coordinate them having an awesome time, but like your money's like, we're not making anything off it. It's just purely to build money. It's like, okay, we're going to make this a great time. A lot of people are donating stuff, venues donating us to have the venue and stuff like that to help with this. So like their tickets are just mostly going to help go towards a bigger cause than them without them having to do any work.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have, classic. We're gonna make our whole product line, right? We'll do hats, t-shirts, tanks, probably a fanny pack. All that stuff will be pre-sold, so that you'll pick it up at the event, and then whatever we have left over, we'll put online.
Hell yeah!
So that we.
And what are the dates for the event? Just quick, do a quick rundown of all the things that are going down.
And 27th.
Yeah, July 26th, 27th, 2-day block party in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, for past, present, and future Air Force Special Warfare, Special Tactics, Battlefield Airmen. If you're nasty, come home. All right, come back. Come over if you've never been. A lot of coming either way, so to speak. But yeah, it's just going to be what? Dude, I'm doing my thing. Yeah. So yeah, Fort Walton Beach, 26, 27 July.
Yep.
And Luke,
killing it.
What are some of the activities that are planned?
Like an intro party, the 26th at Al's.
There you
We're
go.
going to start it at. There's going to be some bands playing. Brent Sibley has a pretty awesome band in the sky called the Sky Dogs. JT's bringing his band. They're going to do that. And we might have this the PJ DJ. He doesn't have a name, but he's a PJ who does some DJ stuff. Help out with that to fill in the blocks on that stuff. So we'll see. It's going to have some food there and that. And then the 27th is going to be, we're going to probably kick it playing football all day. Right now we're looking into the park, but we might switch it to the beach just because, families might want to go hang out at the beach while we're playing football over there. So we'll keep the update on that. We're going to get some penny jerseys and stuff. You can either bring a team or there's going to be plenty enough of scragglers and misfits there that can combine for teams. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then we're going to finish that off at the venue, which is a private event there with the comedy show going on there. We're going to have some raffles going on, swag, that sort of thing. And typical finish the night at Coasters to salute the dead and hang out with the boys.
Hell yeah. Who's going to be doing the comedy? Is it just open mic or?
No, so Jared Taylor of Black Rifle and I and a friend and Caleb Francis kind of went on a comedy. We kind of became comedians a couple months ago. By that I mean like we just did a couple shows and just to have fun, right? Just fuck off. Summertime, baby. And so through that we kind of like loved it, and we're gonna put together we're gonna produce a little show. So there's gonna be some in-person comedy. We're gonna film some sketches ahead of time, show them to the guys. Some shit that we wouldn't put on the internet. We're probably gonna have some mean tweets read, from some Sammy's workers. Yeah, like here's what I think about the knife, and like, oh, who would say that? it'll be cool. It's a little variety show,
Hell
entertainment.
yeah. It's going to be an amazing event, man. I am so pumped for you guys in the community because, you guys, this is a long time coming, man. I loved being in the area now that I'm away from it, and I don't get out to Red Door or Coasters or any of those places. It's it's a good time and a good place for my memories, just for thinking back to the good times that's held out there for you guys. But thank you all for being here. Luke, any last words?
Yeah, I mean, this is for everybody, right? So it's not just for our beret wearers, but it's also to bridge the gap between our beret wearers. So we have a lot of TACPs who didn't go through school in Florida like we used to, like we did, and they went through Texas. So we want to show them. We want them to come. We want them to be welcome. Come and see this and see, like, hey, this is the legacy of TACP. Like, how many TACPs blacked out walking across this bridge on the way home. Like this is kind of where it started for us. So we want to bridge the gap between the generations for sure.
On top of that, it's tying back in with the local community and like getting them to know, like, hey, this is the military community around here. Getting the AC-130 guys in there, that's definitely going to be a priority.
Yeah.
So
Draco buds,
and they're here. So we want to get those guys out there. And Green Berets, we want everyone who's around and wants to come to get out there because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Yep. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait. What are the dates again for the Lowercase Doom's block party?
July 26th, 27th.
Awesome. It's almost here, guys. So please head on over. Where can they get more information for this amazing party? And there you go, the action shots.
Yeah. Go over to Snake Farm, American Misfit, Lowercase Dooms, or I think even Alpha Resolute Group. They have a link of it somewhere up there. They can go look for it. Otherwise, everyone's got a post of it up if the link's not already in the bio or something. So check it out there.
Yeah. Yep. Fuck yeah, guys. I'm so pumped for this. I cannot wait to see pictures of Luke probably naked somewhere on a beach. I can't wait to see that.
Classic Luke move.
Those days might be behind me, but we'll see.
I want some butts.
Make a cameo.
No, Luke, no, put them back.
Kevin, Travis, Luke, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you all next time.
See ya.